Welcome to this candidate debate sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Marin County. I'm Ann Laser with the League of Women Voters, and also with us is Laurie Nardone as timekeeper. The candidates with us today are running for four-year terms for 3 seats on the Las Galinas Sanitary District Board. The candidates with us today are Rabi Elias, Marty Glickman, and Russ Greenfield. Candidate Megan Clark is unable to join us. The candidates have been invited to make opening statements of 2 minutes, and we'll begin with Rabi Elias. Go ahead.
Greetings. My name is Rabi Elias, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors for the Las Galinas Sanitary District. I was appointed unanimously to the board in January of this year from a field of 9 applicants. I wanted to give back to the community that means so much to me. Currently, I am the only licensed engineer on the board, and I will continue to be the district's only engineer when elected in November. My experience and training as a civil engineer will be crucial as the district continues to address the problems of improving and maintaining our aging infrastructure. These are among the issues that I regularly dealt with during my 21 years as Public Works Director in the towns of San Anselmo and Ross. While being sensitive to the economic realities of paying for them, I will always apply the considerable academic and practical knowledge I acquired in the areas of effluent collection, treatment, and disposal reclamation, along with the pragmatic green approach to the many decisions that the district will be required to make in the future. For example, given my short time on the board, I did my best to keep user fees close to the prior years with a minuscule increase of 0.25% for refuse collection and 0.5% for sanitary sewer services. This was done in a manner that helped balance a budget that I voted for, allocating $4.6 million for capital improvements to upgrade the treatment plants, facilities, and our sewage collection system.
Thank you.
That will see endorsed by U.S. Representative Jared Huffman.
Okay. The next is Marty Glickman.
Thank you so much to the League of Women Voters and the Community Media Center of Marin for having all of us here today. I am running for the Las Galinas Valley Sanitary District because I really care about improving the environment and public health in North San Rafael. I'm a lawyer, a mom, and an environmental advocate. I have 3 main goals for my term if I'm elected. The first is to help the district reach its zero spill goal. Last year, the district spilled more than 55,000 gallons of raw sewage in our neighborhood, and we can do a better job. Secondly, we need to improve our environment. The district has more than 350 acres of property on the bay, and it's our duty at the sanitary district to improve our air, land, and water and leave it in better health for future generations to come. The third thing I'd like to do is help the district have a better budget and so we can invest more in repairs. Last year, the district spent more than $300,000 on consultants, studies, and lawyers, and I like to scrutinize those contracts, see if we can make some savings, and maybe even make a job in North San Rafael instead of sending money out of the district. Thank you very much, and I really look forward to the discussion with everyone.
Okay. Russ Greenfield.
Hello. My name is Russ Greenfield. I'd also like to thank the League of Women Voters for providing the debate for you to listen to some of our questions. And I've been on the board now for 12 years, and I'm very proud of what the district has accomplished. I've brought solar in to provide power to run the entire plant. I've seen the recycled water program expanded, and I've seen the plant upgraded to meet regulation needs, and I'm very proud of it. And the reason I'm running is because I think we're doing a good job there, and I would like to stay on and continue with the work. Thank you.
Thank you. The candidates now will have 1.5 minutes to respond to the questions that we've received from many sources in planning for this debate. And this time we'll start with Marnie. Marnie, is the district well prepared to deal with water issues, either too much water or not enough water?
Well, thank you for that question. One of the exciting parts of the work of the sanitation district is its recycled water program. And the district has been in collaboration with the North Bay Water Reuse Agency. They take the wastewater and recycle it and send it through those purple pipes you might see in our community to use for irrigation. I think that the district has done a great job so far, and there's a lot of work more we can do with our partners to expand the use of recycled wastewater. When we do that, we can alleviate the demands on our drinking water, which is good given that we can expect more drought and more shortages. So I'd like to get on the board and seek more state and federal grants so we can expand the program.
Russ.
Yes, the water issue is not only in California, but all over the world. Water is not a renewable resource, and we need to take advantage of what water we have and take care of it and just do a good job. So the water recycling operation that we've got going was recently expanded, and the district has a goal of zero discharge, and the more water recycling we can do and put it to use, hopefully we can do that locally inside the district as much as we can. Some of the places like Texas and Colorado are already running out of water, and in the coming years the issue is going to be very serious. So taking steps now is the answer to the future.
Rabi.
Water reuse, reclamation, recycling is an important issue. In my view, forget oil and all that. Down in the years to come, it's going to be water, drinking water, and it's going to be a big thing in the future. The district is doing great now. We produce more water than we could sell, and we could grow vertically and produce more. The only thing we need help to distribute the water, and I'll try to make partnership with MMWD to help us distribute the water. Northern Marin is the way to go, but we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Okay. So the next we'll ask Russ first. Describe the ways in which the system of recycled water could be expanded, and how much might it cost, and who would pay for it?
That's obviously at Las Galinas we would ask our own ratepayers to expand it. As I said, we'd like to look at areas within the district to expand it. Certainly Peacock Gap is not in the district, the golf course at Peacock Gap, but it's something that Marin Municipal Water I know wants to do. Recently we've taken recycled water outside the district up to Hamilton, and another opportunity would be to go to the Marin Country Club in Loma Verde. An exciting idea, and this is a little bit costly, but one way would be if we expanded recycled water up Lucas Valley Road past the Honor Farm and on up to Big Rock. We could actually percolate it and let it into the ground and let it naturally refeed the Miller Creek. And what we need to do is look at the low-hanging fruit and and do the ones that are least costly and most effective.
Okay, Rabi.
It is very expensive to distribute the water. We need new pipes and new distribution to specific points that they could use. It will be great if we have a system that could provide recycled water to smaller groups or even homes, and that they could use. But this is down the road, and again, we have to raise the money for that, and the only way to do it through partnerships. Increasing the volume of water that we produce is easy because we built the plant to be expanded, and all we have to add is modules on it, and we could produce more water anytime we want. Of course, the principle of capital, we have the capital to increase that because it's not going to be that expensive.
Okay. And Marnie?
The recycled water program is something that we absolutely need to do in collaboration, as Rabi mentioned. As a member of the North Bay Water Reuse Agency, the district has participated in scoping out phase 2 of the collaboration between all of the local agencies. And one of the projects that the district board identified, which I support, is the seeking funds to create another storage pond on our property because of seasonal variations in water flow. One piece of the puzzle for expanding water recycling use is having another storage pond. The numbers that I saw mentioned in the study was that another storage pond could cost between $7, I think, and $12 million. And again, I think that we need to seek more state and federal grants to investigate whether this is really possible and affordable for us. I have a background in part as a fundraiser, and so I would like to bring my experience raising money to the district and help seek more grants. Thank you.
Okay. Rabi, this question came from a member of the Water District Board. He says that you have considered selling the the district has, Water District has considered selling the recycled operation to Las Galinas. Would you prefer that Las Galinas take ownership of the Water District's operation there?
We would like to take care of it, but we're not going to pay a penny for it because their plant is on the olden time, and we have a newer plant, and it takes so much to maintain it and get it going. So if they want to do that, we could scrap that plant, and then we could use our plant to pump the water in their system, where they will be our partner.
Okay. Marnie?
I think it's important for the district to work in collaboration with as many local agencies as possible. I've not reviewed any of the potential cost or savings benefits, but in any decision making that we need to see is, will this save money for the ratepayers? Is this something that makes sense? And so I would have to study those numbers more.
Okay.
Yes, currently there's 2 water treatment plants. One is owned by MMWD, and one has recently been created by Las Galinas. And the MMWD one is now looked at as being a little outdated, and it's not, just doesn't make sense to think about upgrading it. So the answer to the question is, I would want Las Galinas to take over the treatment completely and leave the distribution to MMWD.
Could the cost of recycled water, Marnie, be funded by selling the water? And can you think of anyone who would buy the water if it was put up for sale?
Well, I met recently with San Rafael City Council member Andrew McCullough, and he brought the question to me, Peacock Gap Golf Course would like to buy water. And so they've been trying to work with MMWD and haven't had a successful answer yet to their request to buy the water. So I think that's an example where there is more demand. In the North Bay Water Reuse Agency, they did identify other partners, other potential people and agencies to purchase the recycled water, and so that demand actually has been identified. So yeah, I think there is a market. I think it's going to grow as well.
Okay, Russ?
What was the question again?
Right. Could the cost of recycled water be funded by selling it? And the question, and also who would buy it?
Recycled water is, it works because it's much cheaper than potable water. Yes, we want to sell it. I believe that MMWD is currently charging a little over 50% of what potable water is. I'm not exactly sure on that, but looking for more ways to sell it is, yes, and it's just a matter of expanding recycled water. There's a demand for it, so we just need to provide it.
Okay, Rabi?
I think we already, at Hamilton, they're paying us, the North Marine District, Water District is paying us for some of the recycled water we pump there. It's hard to sell that stuff to the people if it's expensive. And to make it cheaper, we have to have the distribution system. Okay. And if we treat all that effluent, even if we don't sell it, if we put it back in the ground, like Russ had said, it's okay because we don't have the effluent that's left to treat because we're treating all the effluent. And in a way, it's the future sustainable utility that everybody's looking for. This is the way it's going to go.
Okay. Russ, this is a question about the PDA proposals of new development. Does the district have the capacity to treat the wastewater from the PDA proposals in the station area plan?
Yes. The answer is, we base our capacity on summertime, and the plant has plenty of capacity for more housing, and the issue becomes in the wintertime. If we're not fixing leaking pipes and we're allowing storm runoff to get into our system in the wintertime, it can be an issue for us. So yes, we have the capacity, but we also need to keep on top of maintaining our infrastructure.
Rabi?
We are a utility district, and we're supposed to provide water for all the buildup in the district area. The decision to build up is not ours, but yes, I believe we could supply the water, and we will manage to supply the water. Otherwise, we shouldn't be in the business of distributing water. Distributing or treating sewer.
Okay. Marnie?
I agree with Russ and Rabi that the district has the capacity for more people moving into the district through the PDAs, and we do have to keep an eye on the future and continue the repairs.
Okay. Okay, Rabi, the next question. Is the Las Galinas district funding for conservation and reclamation and reuse programs, including rebates for ultra-low dual flush toilets, waterless urinals, and gray water? Is the funding for that sufficient?
The funding is never sufficient, but we have to have a good look at the ratepayers and how we could assess more. But with what we have now and with the rules and regulations that we have, we're okay. And I don't think there's going to be an issue.
Okay. Marnie?
Yes, the district does not provide rebates for gray water or dual flush toilets. And it's a good idea, but for me, the top priority to help ratepayers is to help ratepayers repair their laterals. The district has a lateral assistance program, so when people need help with the costs, it can be as expensive as $10,000 to repair your lateral. The district provides low interest loans which really is not enough for some people. I was out knocking on doors the other day, and someone had lived for 57 years in Marinwood and is having problems with the raw sewage in her house, in her front yard, and she had cut down all the trees to deal with limiting the possible intrusion of roots. And so I think we need to look for more ideas for ways to not just encourage water conservation, but really help people repair their laterals. Last year, the district reported there were at least 20 overflows because of lateral problems, and that's, I think, the top priority.
Okay, Russ?
Yes, I like Marnie's answer. I don't know that much about rebates for waterless urinals and things of that nature, but I do agree that what the district's first obligation is trying to help people with their laterals. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay. Marnie, should dual plumbing requirements for large commercial and residential projects to flush their toilets with treated wastewater be continued and expanded? That is a dual plumbing requirement for large commercial and residential projects. Should they be required?
Should they be required? Well, I think that we need to, the top priority for the district is its zero spill goal. And I think, we need to spend, our top priority needs to be making sure we do the repairs on time, making sure that our treatment plant is working well, and making sure that people repair their laterals. And I don't think, that needs to continue to be the top priority. I think that we should absolutely look at ways to encourage both business owners and homeowners to conserve water and really help our community reach its zero waste goals. But we need to keep our eye on the bottom line, which is zero spills.
Okay, Russ.
I'm sorry, I've been sick and I forgot the question again.
It's about dual plumbing
That's
requirements.
right. I've got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
I know that they're requiring commercial buildings to dual plumb, and a lot of them that are dual plumbed are unable to put it to use. And I think what we need to do is take a close look at why that's happening and what legislation needs to be implemented to correct the problem, because very few places, it's only like jails and a few other places that are actually able to take use of recycled water as plumbing. So I encourage it. I want to see more recycled used. We just don't want to have it so that it's any kind of a health hazard to the community, and that it's safe, and just look at it closer to expand it.
Okay, Rabi.
I was at the North Gate, the new North Gate that they built, and in one or two bathrooms I was in, there was a sign that said, "Don't drink this water, because it is reclaimed." And to my knowledge, I don't know if we provided them with the water or not, but this is the sign what it said. But yes, I would say all commercial, if there is water that we could provide them in a purple pipe, or if they could get their own plant to run gray water in a separate plumbing system, I'm an engineer and I'm for it. And this is the way we save real water, by reusing gray water or get their clean water in our toilets and whatever. Thank you.
Russ, I'm a little reluctant with this question. Are there any lessons for the Las Galinas district to learn from the recent revelations regarding the Ross Valley Sanitary District?
Well, that's a good question for me, because my career, 34 years, I worked at the Ross Valley Sanitary District, and the Ross Valley has it's called Sanitary District Number 1 because it was actually the first sanitary district in California, is my understanding. It's got a very antiquated system, and it needs a lot of love. And when I came to Las Galinas Las Galinas was not having as much spills or problems as Ross Valley, largely because it's only half as old. So Las Galinas is now entering, we're getting older, and our replacement demands needs to be brought up, and that's what we can learn from Ross Valley. You know, unfortunately, they've had some unfortunate things going on, but yes, we certainly can learn from them. And
Okay. Rabi.
Like Russ said, they wanted to move fast to straighten things out in Ross Valley, and of course I was Public Works Director in that district too. But they did it the wrong way, didn't take their time. They hired a general manager thinking that he's gonna solve all the problems and get it online, and it didn't happen. And that's something that we as a board, I would look into it in the future if we ever have that, to make sure that we hire the right people for the right job. Thank you.
Marnie.
One thing that we can learn from Ross Valley Sanitary District is how to improve government accountability, government transparency, and to really how to cultivate the trust of the ratepayers. Because after all of the revelations, I think the board has made some good steps in earning back the public trust. And so overall, I think what we need to do is continue the district's great customer service to serve the ratepayers, and bring these issues of why the sanitation district is so important directly to the ratepayers, not just after a crisis. And so we need to be out at public events, at the county fairs, at schools, talking about what the sanitation district does. We need to continue to invite classrooms of children down to the sanitary district so they can see firsthand what the district does, and I think that will help in the future.
Okay. The next one, we start with you, Rabi. What about the climate change that most scientists say is already underway? And how will the district make the changes that it must?
It's going to happen eventually, and we have to prepare for it. Sea level rise is the biggest thing that will affect us, more the temperature rise, because we are at sea level. So it is something we have to consider, but to protect against that thing, it's very, very expensive, and we could do it in piecemeal, again, without burdening our user payers, and get somewheres. Thank you.
Marnie.
Climate change is the defining crisis of our generation, and really what motivated me to get involved in public service and in my community. The district's property sits at sea level, part of it is below sea level. And so we need to be future focused and realize when the waters rise, the ponds and the treatment plant are in jeopardy. And so we need to be future focused and plan ahead. Other things that we can do is I would like to make sure that the district does a good audit of the greenhouse gas emissions that it produces and lowers the greenhouse gas emissions of the district. Another thing that the board has been investigating somewhat, and I support, are the use of horizontal levees that can be irrigated by wastewater. The Bay Institute just released a really interesting study this year about the use of horizontal levees versus vertical levees. And what they found is that horizontal levees with plants and vegetation irrigated by wastewater is a much cheaper way to deal with sea level rise than vertical levees. And another thing we need to watch out for are there will likely be more extreme weather events due to climate change, and that could impact our ability to treat water.
Russ?
yes, the answer to sea level rise and climate change is to look at the wetlands and the marshes that we've developed on and take a lesson from where we went wrong with that. So I really support trying to restore wetlands when possible and let Mother Nature go back to spreading the water out rather than just putting it into a creek and then building all around it. The horizontal levee that Marnie was talking about there's a development or a pilot project, I believe, in Hayward, and it really would be able to soak up the water rather than build a vertical levee, as Marnie said, and then have to keep building it higher and higher. But when climate change hits us, was it's going to be today, 20 years, or 100 years? We need to start now to preparing for it, because it is real, and we need to protect our investments.
Okay. There have been references to spills, and I wonder if you could give us some more details how they occur and how they are managed. Rabi started this time, so it's you, Marnie.
Last year, the district spilled approximately 56,000 gallons of raw sewage. I believe it was in 8 distinct spills. The largest spill happened at the Descanso pump station, which is adjacent to Pueblo Park and its playground. The district also reported 20 spills that happened on private property. And so last year, the district spilled more raw sewage than any other sanitation district in Marin other than Ross Valley. And so that's another reason where I'm motivated to run for the seat and see if we can do better. So some of the lessons that I have gathered in my research so far, because I'm not a member of the board right now, is that when the spill at Descanso happened, the big spill, there were automatic pump stations that automatically pumped approximately 10,000 gallons of the raw sewage into the bay. So one quick thing that we can do is look at, how can we reduce the amount of time it takes to communicate to the right people to turn off the pump stations. Another thing that I have learned through knocking on doors throughout Santa Benicia is that not everyone was really aware of the spill that happened. And so we need to expand the notification area after a spill happens. A third thing that I would like to add is that when the spill happened at the playground, the park was not closed before safety testing was done, and in the future, I think it should be.
Okay, Russ.
Yes, the Las Galinas was lucky with the spill that Marnie's mentioning, because most of it went into a stormwater pump station, and it was contained, and it wasn't allowed to go out in the environment. But the district did report the 50. What we do, that the district does do, is that we have a preventative maintenance system, and we've been lucky to have the lowest spill rate in Marin several times, and we're usually at the leader. And we've won an award from the California Water Environment Association 3 times since 2008. And in 2010, we were named Collection System of the Year. And it's not based on the fact that we were lucky that we didn't have a spill. It's based on what we're doing to prevent spills. So that's the key, is develop a preventive maintenance, be proactive, and get out there and clean your pipes or replace them so that you're not creating spills, because they are the most important thing to prevent.
Rabi.
Spills are, we have to prevent those to happen, and the only way that we could address spills is keep upgrading the pipeline and upgrading our infrastructure, the pumps, and some plant. And there should be some way that we could modernize that equipment, that we could turn a pump on or off from the central plant instead of trying to get somebody out there to do it. And this way would cut down on the amount of spillage. And also notifying the authorities, the health authorities, and closing where a spill happens is very prime in my view, and we should really be careful. If there is a spill, we should cordon it and make sure that the kids get away from there and the public gets away from it until it's taken care of. Thank you.
Okay. I'm wondering if the district has ever considered consolidation with other districts, and we'll start with Russ.
consolidation with SASM and possibly Ross Valley has always been an interesting topic, and I'm in favor of consolidation where it just makes good sense. When I first came to the Las Galinas board, one of the first things I asked was about consolidation, about two logical places we could consider, Novato or Central Marin. And unfortunately, neither one of them have the capacity to combine treatment plants with us. So for the time being, Las Galinas really doesn't make sense to look at consolidation, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be looking at it for other agencies, shouldn't be considering it, because I think it makes sense.
Okay. And Marnie? No, that's right, Rabi, right.
The consolidation is going to get us sooner or later. We always have to talk about the utility of the future, where it has to be self-sufficient. And to do that, we need to build these big plants that could change the minerals and the nutrients and the effluent to fertilizers that we could sell. And it's been done with some of the big cities in the United States. And to do that, we have to consolidate to be able to be self-sufficient. And we cannot do it now, but eventually it will happen. And if anything, I'll be for it. Thank you.
Okay. Marnie?
Last year, Ross Valley Sanitation District did a study on possibility for them to consolidate with various other agencies. It didn't include Las Galinas Valley. And what they found was pretty interesting. Consolidation made sense and saved money for the ratepayers only in certain combinations, and only if the decisions happened all at once and very quickly. So it's not obvious to me that consolidation makes sense. I would support it if it provided greater financial stability for the district, greater ratepayer fairness, and really improved the environmental outcomes. In general, my personal values are for decentralization and local control. I think that decisions are best made by people who are most directly affected by them.
Okay. Rabi, how important is it to keep the rates low? The questioner says, doesn't investment in modernization and other infrastructure projects save money in the long run?
It is very important to keep the rates low. I mean, this is all our users will look at, is low rate and not increase it. And the way to do it is just raise the rate very little and put aside or somewhere in a fund money to invest into the future use, so without burden the ratepayers. And that's the way to go.
Marnie?
It's really important to keep the rates as low as possible so that we can meet our future goals. And the future goals are protecting the public health and the environment. And so what that means to me is that we need to be as scrupulous as possible with all of our expenditures, see if we can save money by doing things, like I said earlier, scrutinizing the contracts with consultants, seeing if we can reduce legal expenses, regulatory costs. I think another thing that I'd like to do if I'm elected to the board is see if we can generate more income. I met with the head of Marin Clean Energy a couple of months ago, and we talked about the possibility of adding more solar panels on the district's property and selling it back to Marin Clean Energy to generate income. I think it's a really great thing that we need to explore more. So yes, we need to have rates low, but we need to be able to accommodate not just our current needs, but our future needs.
Russ?
I think keeping rates low is vital of importance, and I've been a very strong, as a board member, to force staff to tighten their belt, if you will. And what I've seen is that they've replaced high-energy pumps with variable speed pumps that save energy. We've put the solar in, and that's a huge savings to ratepayers. And just overall, to be effective and cut out the fat, that's what we need to do. We need to look at what the regulations coming down to us are going and how we're going to stay ahead of that, but at the same time, keep rates low. I mean, it's important to the people and the ratepayers themselves.
Okay. A question related to rates deals with the per meeting pay that the board members receive. Is the district board member per meeting pay still an issue? And Marnie, we start with you.
The district board members receive $250 per meeting that they attend, up to 5 meetings per month. And I support looking at this policy and bringing it in line with other local agencies. As you may know, the San Rafael school board members don't get meeting reimbursements. The Dixie school board members don't get reimbursements. And so in this day of austerity where we're looking for places to cut, I think that is a good place to look, as well as the board members' available travel reimbursements.
Okay. Russ?
Well, I know that the board, although the rate, it does seem high, $256 per meeting. We haven't given an increase on that for, I think, 5 years in a row because of the economy, the way it's been. And I don't anticipate that we'll be upping that anytime soon. So I don't know. It's a difficult question to respond to a little bit.
Rabi?
I think it's fair enough that the board gets compensated for their efforts, because some of them do work and they lose the time if they go to those meetings or conferences, which are very beneficial to the benefit of the Las Galinas Sanitary District, much more than the $256 per meeting, because we learn so much about how to run and how to help run the district at a reduced cost, or save to the district by learning from other people that have done it before, and we don't have to do it ourselves.
Okay. Am I finished with, yeah. I find myself in a curious and unusual position, which is that we've asked all the questions that we prepared, maybe because there are 13. But I'm going to say I don't have any more questions, and I'm not an engineer. That may be part of it. So I'm going to, before you make your closing statements, I'm going to remind the voters of some important dates. Election day is Tuesday, November 5th. The last day to register to vote is October 22nd, 2 weeks before the election, or to re-register if you have moved since you last voted. Requests for absentee ballots must be received by the Elections Department by October 28th, 1 week before the election. And early voting opens at the Civic Center in room 121 on October 7th. If you go to the League of Women Voters smartvoter.org website and enter your street address and your zip code, you will be able to see your own ballot with links to the candidates, issues, ballot measures, and information about the voting process itself. In addition, our website, Marin, LWV.org, has many other online resources for voters to research facts and campaign financial information. And the online information includes that you can watch this debate on your computer. Now the candidates will make closing statements. We had said that the closing statements would be 1.5 minutes, but since you gave such short answers to many of the questions, I'm going to let you have 2 minutes if you can. So, and we're going to reverse the order and start with Russ.
Thank you. Once again, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity and my fellow debaters here. What I'd like to call to attention is that 20 years ago, sanitation districts were looked at in a different way. And what I mean is they were asked to collect sewage, run it down to a pipe to a treatment plant, treat it and discharge it in an environmentally safe way. Today, things are changing. We are now looked at as resource recovery treatment plants, and we can pull the recycled water out. We can take the methane and the gases, the biogases, and turn it into energy. We can take biosolids and put them to use. There's a lot of things that sanitation districts can now look to do that will be benefit to the community, and I would like to be a part of that, and I think that I've done a good job over the last 12 years and hope that I can stay on for another 4.
Okay. Marnie.
Thank you again to the League of Women Voters and the Community Media Center of Marin for bringing this election to you. And I really encourage you to learn more about our work. The Las Galinas Valley Sanitation District is the ground zero for environmental improvement in North San Rafael. It's a crucial place where we need to work on improving public safety. That's why I'm running. I'm a lawyer, an environmentalist, and a mom, and I want to make sure that when I'm out and about taking my children to playgrounds that I know that they're safe. I want to make sure that when I'm walking with children to Valsito Elementary School that, you know, when spills happen at that corner, I want to make sure they're cleaned up quickly and that we all know what's happening. I'm really active in the community, and I want to bring these issues directly to people. I've knocked on over 700 doors so far in North San Rafael, talking to people about their concerns about the sanitary district and their questions about the sanitary district and their ideas. If you elect me, I will continue to do that face to face because that's the most important way where we can really work to improve our community. I was recruited to run and have been endorsed by Las Galinas Valley Sanitary District board members Judy Schriedman and Megan Clark, who aren't here today. I've received the endorsements of the Sierra Club, the Marin Women's PAC, City Council member of San Rafael, Damon Conley, Barbara Heller, and many other community leaders. I thank them for their support, but I want to ask you all again, please, I would appreciate your vote in November or in October because the ballots are coming soon. You can learn about me and my campaign at marnieglickman.org. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have by email, and my contact information is on the website. Thank you so much.
All right. And Rabi.
I want to thank the League, of course, for getting us together here in a nice media center. First time, and I enjoyed it. I still think about the future. Utility is the way that we're going to end up with. We have to try to stay on our own, self-sufficient, and save money on taxpayers. The water use is a big issue for me, and I like to see that done. There's places like in Scottsdale, in Arizona, where they treat every drop of the effluent, and they do it indirect use, they treat it so good, they pump it back in an aquifer. And people, of course, use it for drinking. We're in California, there's legislation going on for years now to try to get to the indirect use. We're still struggling with that. Nobody wants to know about the direct use, you know, but that's another issue. And being an engineer, I love to get into this stuff and help the district, and I have plenty of experience in that. And I want you to know, the voters, that I have no political aspiration or agendas. I just want to give back to the community and continue to use my engineering background to service the community. Of course, I and my family lived in Marinwood for 25 years, raised my children here in the outstanding schools that they have, and we love living here. And I got endorsed by U.S. Representative Jared Huffman, and of course many of your neighbors, and hopefully vote for me in November. And I thank you.
Well, thank you to the candidates for your participation. And thank you to our Laurie Nadone, our timekeeper. And thank you to you, the viewers, for watching.